Here we are again, and today I'm just going to spend a few moments giving you some advice about celebrities and the paparazzi. Now, over my time as an ex-academic and as a celebrity psychologist, I study the patterns of behavior in mental health as a consequence of being heavily publicly scrutinized. I'm thinking here of people like Harry and Meghan, for example, or Liam Payne, and all of the other many lovely people and lovely celebrities we have known who have incurred some degree of mental health difficulty. And so, if you can imagine for one moment, when I'm walking down London and down Oxford Street, and I pop in for a coffee in any of the bistros, or I go to McDonald's for a cappuccino or for an Americano, I'm hardly likely to see any of the royalty sitting there. I often wondered, they must have an absolutely appalling life, been tidied away, either traveling to do various events which we know about and which are heavily televised. But how can they possibly just be themselves? No wonder they want to go off to Highgrove or go down to Clarence House and go into the countryside to Sandringham and Norfolk. They are trapped in many ways because, like you and I mean, I can nip down to McDonald's tonight and be with friends, or I can go elsewhere and go for a coffee in Costa's with friends and so on. But at the same time, I've got that freedom. You have that freedom too. But think of it, by the way, many celebrities can't do that. They're prisoners to their own homes. Nobody wants to know them, and they don't want to know anyone else because the pressure that people are intruding into your privacy, we are entitled. We have entitlement to our privacy, to our private lives. But celebrities do have these vulnerabilities and become psychologically vulnerable because they're constantly on edge that people are spying on them, that the house is bugged or their phones are bugged, and or the press might be writing something about them which isn't exactly true. So there is, and many of these difficulties and challenges, no matter who you are, it doesn't have to be royalty. I'm just looking at many ones that I have known as a consequence of working in reality television, the people who have ended their lives as a result of scrutiny, as a result of not being able to get an agent, as a result of not being able to be famous. And so we have to try and understand, as psychologists, the everyday pressures that members of the royal family are under and how they cope with that and how they manage to be graceful and to be doing what royals and regals do. But it's not just about that. It's about facing the reality of media attention. It's lovely when media attention is very supportive of what we do, that we do have something to celebrate for the community. But when we don't, we celebrate our music and musicians. I'm a clarinetist, really, and I love playing my clarinet, my oboe. But at the same time, I don't want to be on stage. I don't want to be famous. I'm happy just being me. But I'm not going to be scrutinized, hopefully. But at the same time, you have to realize that there is that amazing pressure on that affects your identity, who you are. And I imagine that Harry and Meghan are constantly, irrespective of everything that's said about them, I have to, as a psychologist, look at how this will impact their mental health. And it would do negatively. And that would make me extremely angry if I were to be an angry person. I'm certainly not. But if I were to be confirmed that I was being scrutinized constantly, and maybe we are indirectly and we don't know about it. But if you're constantly aware that you are, then it's a terrible threat to your personal identity, and you end up with an identity crisis. So many of these celebrities, as a result of intense, relentless scrutiny by press and media, because they haven't the power to cope with this. They don't have problem coping strategies or effective coping strategies to deal and to eradicate the power or to control it. So they live their lives in their homes or in their mansions, wherever they might be. And that's the reason why they have private jets, or one of the reasons why they have private jets. But it doesn't excuse the fact, that this is really the way we should all be living because we can't afford a private jet. I'm happy with EasyJet, I'm happy with British Airways or whatever, on a short flight or whatever. But we don't have private jets. Do we need them? No, we do not. I go around on a bike. I'm so happy with that. So displays of wealth are not really that terribly meaningful at the end of the day. I love handbags. I love all those lovely leather works that I adore Italian work. But at the same time, I'm mindful of the fact that I wouldn't want to be scrutinized by if I were a celebrity. And I just love normality, simplicity, good fun, good friends, good music, lovely food, and be you. Just be you. All right. Take care. Bye.